bell rings, the building could collapse. JR is not going to see it. He's not. He won't know until after he comes out of the sympathetic response. Because right now, the only thing in front of him is an opponent that wants to knock him out, or he's enforcing his will what he's going to do to his opponent. And the only voice that he's conditioned his brain to listen to in that environment is his coach, who he has trust with, that he has the best interest of heart. That he can give him coaching instruction from the corner. Everything else around him doesn't matter. His kids, family, his life, his car, he'll never know because. So this apparatus on my truck, this modality, it trains you to simulate a sympathetic response, but there's no emotional trigger. There's no cortisol and adrenaline pump. It doesn't trigger PTSD. It actually gets you comfortable being uncomfortable. So I've been doing this for about 2 years. I'm training elite athletes in their prime. I train elite athletes who are retired for recovery. It stretches your vertebrae. There's no impact your joints. It's mobile during COVID. Get vitamin D, increase serotonin levels. So I'm always evolving to keep moving to find better ways of being healthier, being more efficient with my life, with my movements, with my actions. So I started looking up new modalities. I started seeing people doing ice baths. Now, I train a lot of pro football players, a lot of NFL guys. Caleb Benton not supposed to be here. Actually, he said he was going to be here, so I wore his shoes because I wanted to do like a little funny thing, like, hey, you know, you got to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, right? But so these are size like 15s. He's 6'6", 330 pounds, and played for the Bucks. So I wore his shoes because I wanted to tie it in, but he's obviously not here. But the point is, I've been doing ice baths. Now I know the NFL guys, they all did it for muscle recovery, for muscle repair, right? For soft tissue pain, to cut out inflammation. But now it's coming back around, and it's the trend because of what it does for the brain, because of the way it spikes dopamine. Because the dopamine is your motivation. So if you're get excited about something, you're motivated to go do something, those are spikes in dopamine. And it's very similar to what spikes addiction, why people do nicotine or cocaine or heroin or narcotics, because of the change of hormonal balance, right, Doc? So with these things being said, I started to do ice bath therapies with intent, with a purpose, So psychologically speaking, if you're forced against your will to do something and it's traumatic, like you're working out or life or whatever, if you're forced to do it, it leaves a negative emotional scar on it. But if you're doing it because you believe, the power of belief, if you believe that it's beneficial, you believe that it's good for you, then you do it voluntarily. Oh man, the experience is just great. And when you can apply that to your life, you can do things with intent because of the power of belief, it changes everything. So Dr. Andrew Huberman, neuroscientist at Stanford University, he's really big in thermal regulation. He got his graduate doctorate in it. So I started doing ice plunges. And as I work in the restaurant every day, I start telling my story every day, people start asking me about it. And they're like, man, I would love to try that. So those of you that are here that are prepared to experience such an experience, I brought my ice barrel down. We have one that's going to be at a 32-degree plunge. We're going to have ambient temperature of the pool, which right now is probably around 65 degrees. Craig is going to go get some ice and make the wading pool up there, hopefully get it to a target temperature of like 50 degrees. And it's going to be one of those things where we can all either experience it in a group format where everybody holds each other accountable. But the benefits are inflammation reduction, mental clarity, focus, the initial overcoming of shock and fear and anxiety subside, right? And then you can really spike your dopamine and control those emotions naturally. So if I'm having a stressful day, or if I'm having a bad day at work, I could get into that cold water, and within 30 seconds, everything's shut. Literally. Now, from a thermogenic standpoint, those of you that maybe have a weight goal on your dream, maybe if you are looking for like ways to like restart your metabolism, we know that there's two fuel sources that your body gets. You get carbohydrates or you get fats, right? So if your body's not responsive to carbohydrates because you just haven't been working out, you haven't been moving, you're not taking care of yourself like you should be, and your body's not responsive to breaking those down into energy. So if you do a keto diet for a short period of time to change up that fuel source is a great idea. But I want you to be mindful of, we are human beings that are free. Except we have to have permission to drive a car, we have to have a license to catch a fish, and we have to, like, have an HOA, and we have to, like, we have a lot of regulations, I guess. But there's none that say you have to take care of your body. There's no regulation, no oversight. There's nothing that says if you want to be healthy, you have to eat this. Or there's no government regulation. So these things are up to us to fend for ourselves and to find ways. And that's why, if you look at the vendor that I have over here, I brought in Sean and my Gabrielle from the NutriShop on 4th Street. I use a lot of their supplements, their quality supplements that I believe in. John and his wife own Suncoast Fitness, like, the lifestyle, just helping people be the best version of themselves. Doctor, my friend Jason is a tennis player, he's a family man, but he's always putting fitness first and like your health first. One of my other things is that Dr. Gene and Stella, they have the wellness spa, but they also are the Pro Tandem representatives, and they help people. Gene was a Western medicine doctor who gave it all up because he just didn't want to write prescription pills. He wanted to actually improve people's quality of life. And so I believe in that, and that's why everybody came together to believe in me. We have 2 Moffitt guys here, Dr. Luna over here, lab first guy, and Jason, of course. So, but we have pro athletes, we have people who have achieved dreams, who had visions, who had to ramp it up, whether they got support from their loved ones or not, and kept pushing forward, even though their friends and family said, "Oh, that's dangerous, that's crazy," or "Why would you put yourself through that?" They persevered, and they got to the point. When's your title fight? I mean, you got to be banging on the belts. Gotta be down about. How many fights have you had professionally? 15 professional fights. Anybody ever tell you that you're crazy? Yeah. But look at you. Like, when you have belief in yourself, scientifically speaking, at Stanford University, they did a clinical study that said they had anabolic steroid users, and they had a placebo effect, and they told people they were on anabolic steroids. And guess what? From a physiologist standpoint, they got people with results. Right? So why did the placebo effect work? Well, maybe they thought they were on it, so they were working out harder, more motivated. People who had been on it, they weren't motivated anymore. Maybe you got fatigue in your career, in your dream, in your success. Maybe you plateaued. Maybe you're at the gold standard and you didn't reset or reestablish new evolution. So here I am today on the first day of 2023. I do not know what your goals are. I don't know what your dreams are. I'm not going to read them. Okay? But I want to establish my goal this year to show my evolution. I have accepted a fight with celebrity boxing. I will be fighting probably in May on TV, pay-per-view. I'll be using JR to help me with my skill set. I'll be using the pizza diet principles. You're going to see me on TV. I'm going to be a 46-year-old man who eats pizza for a living, a father of 2. So I'm an average Joe. I'm just like everyone else. Just like you. I get 7 hour minutes in a day as everyone else. I don't get paid to eat, sleep, train, recover like pro athletes do, the NFL guys. Right? I'm a part of my community. I feed people when they're hungry. I give people hope and jobs and opportunity. I get to be a part of major life moments, like such as 50th surprise birthday parties. And it's the greatest honor that all of you guys came to let me use this platform to build a new career in my life. Because at this step, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm just now starting to ramp up to get the confidence that I need to take this to the next level, to change lives, to inspire people, to help people reach their goals. And I've got an amazing support system and great people like you guys that all came out today. And that's why Gary's here with all of his body armor, so you guys are all safe.
300!
And I wanted to, because I thought it was important to show the outer shell that we all put on, and what really goes on underneath. You're not alone, and you can look at many celebrities as like an example of this. Just recently switched from Ellen DeGeneres, took his life. From the outside, he had a perfect life, happy, dancing, always thin, with a perfect family, and all look great. My industry, Anthony Bourdain, traveling the world, eating amazing foods, and seeing the amazing sunrises, and, Robert Williams, one of the most talented people ever to do it, right? Kate Spade, built her own empire, making other women feel beautiful and her style represented them. She didn't have enough value for herself. And she, the reports I saw that people, like her husband wanted a divorce, and she couldn't live without that. She put too much value in what he meant to her. She didn't complete herself. So there's a lot of people that have, on the outside, they look strong, they look tough, they look like they got it all together, they got it all. But tragically, we see it play out year after year and day after day. So I want to be that voice. I want to be that place of safety. So throughout this year, this is not a short-term New Year's resolution. This is a come by and get gassed up anytime you feel low. Anytime you feel like you're not staying connected, you're not staying committed, you lost your way, you're not staying on your nutrition, you're not motivated. Because motivation, as John Hatt says, motivated, is an emotion. Oh, it's beautiful out there. The sun's out, I'm going to run. It's nice. Where discipline is emotionless. Right? 29 degrees last week in Tampa. How many went for that run? I'll wait for a couple days. We're out. Right? So discipline says you do it no matter what. There's no emotional connection. Right? And it was through that process of learning the difference between motivation and discipline that I actually finally, after 46 years on this planet, found out what I meant to do with my life. All the aptitude tests in school, remember those, like where they, trying to figure out what you're good at, what you're going to do when you grow up, right? Like, like, be a forester or something, like, I don't know, right? They might get like something crazy. But I discovered the word visionary leader in my journey of research and ramping up and looking at others in the space that do what I do. And I didn't know what visionary leader meant. And then I looked it up and it said, a visionary leader is a person who ensures someone takes an action step towards a goal or a dream by holding them accountable, giving them encouragement, and encouraging them to take action toward it. Now that last. That's exactly. And I do it by illustration, by this. So I'm a visionary leader. That is my title. It's what I will be. It's what I am. It's what I'm building. It's what I'm doing. And for the second index card that you guys all have, I would like for you to just leave it on the level of success in which you've taken that dream thus far. If it's still trash, don't throw it on the ground. But if it's still, if you haven't put any action behind it, if it's just still an idea, it's just a thought, it's still just laying on the ground for someone else to pick up and develop and run with, or if it's something that you haven't done anything to take proaction towards, then put it back in the bowl with the other dream. Right? And if you put some ideas behind it, you got some feedback, you talk to your friends and family, you told your next door neighbor about it, you got some, your ramp up period, or if you got a formation of an LLC and you've actually got a bank account, if you've got it to where it's making a little bit of money, but it's not enough to actually make it your primary income, if you got it to your income, and now it's you're living your passion, and you're doing what you love, and you're changing lives, and you're a supplement store, and you're like part of your community, if you're here, if you got it to where it's passive, and so for those of you that are in this space where you're wondering about, well, how do you get it passive? Like you're still working, let's see here, like you're always, well, in 2012, I moved to Brazil with my wife. We welcomed a daughter, the birth of my daughter. And so in order to do that, I set up a system of accountability where I hired an outside accounting firm, and they ran all the business. They paid all the bills, had no access to the computer, to the restaurant, to the keys, to the inventory. They didn't operate the store. They were an outside control. And then I went to my manager and I said, hey guys, look, we're going to figure out the cost to operate the business. We're going to put it on paper. Anything above that, we're now partners. I take 51%, you take 49%. You're going to run the business and have a profit sharing system. Where the lawyers drew up contracts, they had percentages. They could only take money from the restaurant, put it in the bank. The accountant could only pay what was in the bank. They couldn't manipulate the numbers. So no one had control, absolute control. So every Monday in Brazil, I was getting a check in American U.S. dollars that converted to 4.5 to 1. Living in Brazil, welcome to the birth of my daughter, and I was passive with my time, passive with my income. So I come back to the U.S., and the first thing my accountant does, he calls me, do not go to the restaurant. Whatever you do not go there. Come here first before you do anything else. So I'm like, fear sets in, my anxiety sets in, my panic sets in. I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. She's gonna tell me that's over, right? So I go in. She goes, listen, Matt. Listen to me. Business owner. Listen to this. You go back there with the same expectations that you have when you open the restaurant. The standard of cleanliness, the quality, the personality, the energy, the place, the cleanliness, all of it. You go back there and you tell those that those people were good enough for you when you were living abroad, you were living your passive lifestyle, you were living free, and you were out of the country. And now that you're back, you're going to go micromanage them. You're going to tell them that they're no longer valuable, that they're no longer good enough for you, that they can't do this, they have to change everything they've been doing. Dude, you're going to be a slave to yourself. You're going to have no staff, no play, they're all going to walk out. And you're going to end up working 100 hours a week, every day, open and close, and you have a new baby at home with a wife that's alone. You know? So I was like, well, what do I do? You stay away. Go chase down your dreams. Whatever that dream is, go do it right now, because you make money without actually doing the work. You're passing that work. And that's when I got into the bodybuilding world. That's when I wanted to really develop this side of changing lives, inspiring people. Is when I opened up a second store because I didn't feel like I was welcome back in my old store. Because, you know, I go in and everybody cringe. You're going to fire me? You're going to be... So it changed the energy of the place, the mood of the place. The whole place was different when I was around. And it was a lot better when I wasn't. Because they were free. They didn't feel like their job was different. So, business owners, I'm telling you, if you really, like, you've got to empower your people. You've got to trust the people. You know, you're going to get hurt. People are going to let you down. They're going to damage your name, your brand. They're going to try to tear you down when they see your success. Because the human nature says, I'll support you guys as long as we're all equals. But as soon as you start doing better than me, oh, you know, that guy's not really all that. Oh, man, that was first thing. I had like 17 people there, and they half of them were his family, and none of them worked for him. You know. So it's one of those things where when you control everything, you lose your life to it. You can't control stress, which I feel is the biggest thing of the biggest health risk out there is hormones, stress, cortisol, leads to cardiac arrest, fear, anxiety, and some people get so crippled that they don't even take action steps toward dreams with such short lifespans. I'm 46 years old. Every day I see somebody die younger than me that's no longer here. Bob Marley's grandson passed away last week. We were in Jamaica at the time when it happened. 31 years old, and something didn't have his asthma again. Now, Stephen Bonner, one of the legendary fights in the UFC that put the fighting world on the map, had a heart attack last week, cardiac arrest, and is no longer here. So life is short, you know. And so, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your time? If it's just to prolong it, healthy-wise, it's to enjoy it. It's just for peace and joy. That's why I have these experts around. So after this is all over, you can network with them and connect with them to extend your life, live a better quality of life, to connect with each other, right? But for a guy like me, like a guy like John, like I'm working on legacy. And I'm past like my own account. I don't need any more trophies or ceramic medallions or medals to validate my success. The pizza diet is real. I've continued to show the versatility of what a body built like pizza can do. I don't need another one of these trophies. That's not my passion. I don't need to show anybody else that it's real. Right? I'm working on legacy. I want my children to be proud of me that their father changed the industry. And he took an industry and changed it from junk food out. And those of you that have been here since day one, since my journey, since the Rosie Shopping Center, the inception of the pizza diet, all the way up to where I took the responsibility and my job to illustrate what was inside my own head to make the world visible, to visualize, so that people can see your dream. And if you fail to do that, it stays up in here. So please, on your way out, I would love for you guys to put your dream, your last card, on the level of success of what you've taken it thus far. Anybody who's ready to do the cold plunge, we'll start migrating towards the pool. It's a network with the vendors. They've got all the tables set up. And then afterwards, anybody who wants to get a GMAT vertical training in, who actually wants to work out with a different modality to try something different, and I'm going to be doing those one-on-ones after all. So thank you guys for the time, and let's go.